In the present session, I'll cover parameter passing, logic instructions and encoding machine instructions. So first we'll take parameter passing. What is the meaning of parameter passing? Parameter passing is nothing but exchange of informations between a calling program and the subroutine. So in the previous session, we already considered what is the meaning of why exactly we are going for subroutine. So there will be one main program and we are having the subtask which is to be repeatedly executed within the main program. In such cases, we can go for subroutine concepts. So how exactly the informations can be exchanged between the main program and subroutine is called as parameter passing. So we can perform the parameter passing by considering the processor register or else the memory location. So that means the parameters may be placed in register or in the memory location where they can be accessed by the subroutine. So the parameters or informations which is to be exchanged between the main program and the subroutine can be placed in the processor register or in the memory location. So next is stack frame. Stack frame refers to locations that constitute a private workspace for the subroutine. So this workspace can be created at the time the subroutine is entered and freed up when the subroutine returns the control to the calling program. The workspace whatever which is created, it will be freed up whenever the subroutine returns the control to the main program, that means the calling program. So here we can observe that we are having the parameter passing on the stack. So each and every time the informations can be exchanged between the main program and the subroutine. That means the list add, that is nothing but the subroutine called by the main program. So we are having the subroutine part. So here we are performing some operations or set of instructions over here with respect to that how the top of the stack, that means so it will be located initially at level 1. So whenever the subroutine is called by the main program, so we have to store the return address within the stack. So now the top of the stack come to level 2. Once again, after execution of the subroutine, we can make use of some processor register in order to pass the informations into the main program. So now the topmost level, that is level 3, which is locating towards the content of R3. So in order to pass the information between the main program and the subroutine, we can make use of processor registers or else memory location. So the subroutine stack frame is shown in the figure. Initially we are having old top of the stack. So after that some parameters are pushed into the stack, parameter 3, 4, 2 and 1. Whenever the subroutine is called, so this will be the return address and this location will be saved over here, saved FP frame pointer. And so now I'll keep frame pointer as fixed since so we are having one more pointer, that is SP. It will be keep on changing whenever the new item comes into the stack, that means pushed into the stack or any items are popped from the stack. That means whenever any items are retrieved from the stack, each time the stack pointer will be keep on changing. So I need one fixed pointer which will be pointing towards the return address. So that is nothing but the frame pointer. That is why we are using two pointers. That means the frame pointer and the stack pointer within the subroutine stack. Frame pointer FP, which is used to access the parameters passed to the subroutine and the local variables. The content of FP remains fixed throughout the execution of the subroutine, unlike the stack pointer SP, which must always point to the correct topmost elements in the stack. Logical instructions. Either logical instructions may be shift and rotate instructions. So we can perform arithmetic and logical shift as well as rotate operations. There are many applications that requires the bits of an operand to be shifted right or left some specified number of bits positions. So under logical shift, once again we can have two classifications. So those two classifications are shifting left, that is L shift L, and shifting right by the given count, that is L shift R. So first we'll take logical shift. A left logical shift of one position moves each bit to the left by 1. The vacant least significant bit, that is LSB, is filled with 0 and the most significant bit MSB is discarded. After performing the shift operation, the LSB will be filled with 0. If you are shifting by one position, the LSB is filled with 0 and the MSB is discarded. During right logical shift operation of one position moves each bit to the right by 1. The counter is 1 now. The least significant bit is discarded over here and the vacant MSB is filled with 0. So here we can observe that we are having the left logical shift and right logical shift. So we'll take what is the register content before performing the shift operation. So that means we are having the content 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. So how to perform shift left operation? So while shifting left by position 1, so this one will come to the previous location. This one will come to the previous location. So this one will come to this location 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and so this will be omitted out. So this one will be omitted out. And so here we are having the LSB location. LSB location is empty. So we can append 1, 0. So this is the new register content after performing left logical shift. So we considered we have performed logical shift by the count of 1. So each time we can shift the bits to the left position and the LSB is filled with 0 and followed by the MSB value is discarded. Similarly, I can take right logical shift. So we have to perform shift operation right side. So while shifting right side, so this one will be neglected. So this will be omitted out. So this one will come to the LSB location. Next comes 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1. So this location, the last location is shifted to the previous location. Right. So now this is empty. This is empty. So this empty location I can fill it with a single 0. Can fill it with a single 0. So this is how the logical shift by one bit can be performed. So next we'll take arithmetic shift operation. A left arithmetic shift of one position moves each bit to the left by 1. So it is same as logical shift, but the vacant least significant bit, that is LSB, is filled with 0 and the most significant bit MSB is discarded. It is identical to left logical shift. Here in the case of a right arithmetic shift of one position moves each bit to the right by 1. The least significant bit is discarded and vacant MSB bit is filled with the value of previous, that means now shifted one position to the right. So here, so I explained with the example. So I have to perform left arithmetic shift by position 1. So while performing left arithmetic shift by 1, so what we can do is, so I'll take this one will be shifted to the previous position 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. So this one will be omitted out. One will be omitted out. So now check the MSB value. Check the MSB value. So check the MSB value and write it in the position of LSB. So here we performed left shift arithmetic shift left by one position. So we are having one empty location over here. So after performing shift operation, that means arithmetic shift operation, check the content of MSB. If the MSB is 0, so directly take it as 0. If the MSB is 1, take it as 1. So similarly, we'll take right arithmetic shift. So while performing right shift, so in this direction, I can say that the LSB will be omitted out. It will be neglected. So this one will come to the actual LSB position 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1. So this is empty now, right? So this one comes to the previous location. So now this location is empty now. So now check the MSB value. Check the MSB value. Since it is 1, append 1. So it is similar to logical shift. It is similar to arithmetic shift is similar to the logical shift. Only the thing is, instead of appending 0, so we have to check the MSB value after performing the shift operation. After performing the shift operation, if the content of MSB is 0, directly append 0 in the vacated location, or else if it is 1, append 1, consider 1 in the vacant location. So here we can observe that shift right logical and shift right arithmetic. So in the case of shift right logical I have to omit this LSB. This one will come to the previous location. So next comes 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0 and 0. So now we are having this location is empty now after shifting right. So I can directly append 1, 0. So now that means the new value of register after performing logical shift right, that is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So similar way we can consider shift right arithmetic. So while performing shift left arithmetic, so I'll omit the MSB, same as logical one. So this one will come to this location 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. So now here this location is empty now. This location is empty now. Check the MSB bit. What is the MSB value? It is 1. So append 1 in the vacated location. So in the case of logical shift, irrespective of the shift operation is considered left side or right side, so we can directly append 0. But in the case of arithmetic shift, after performing the respective shift operation, check the MSB bit. So that value we have to append in the vacated location. So next we'll take rotate operations. In shift operation, the bits shifted out of the operand are lost, but we have to maintain those shifted bits. So in order to maintain or retain the shifted bits, we can go for the rotate operations. So to preserve all bits, a set of rotate instructions can be used. So how to perform the shifting operations, but how to preserve all the bits within the register. In such cases, we can go for rotate instructions. So here we can observe that rotate right, similar to shift operation, we can perform rotate operation either right side or left side. So here we can observe that we are considered one register value and have to perform rotate operation. So while performing rotate right, so this one will come to the previous location. So next one, this one will come to the previous location 1, 1, 0, 0 and 0, and this 0 will come to the first location. So after performing rotate operation, the content will be 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0 and 0. So we perform rotate write operation. So but we are not neglected or we are not omitted not even single bit within the register. All the values are retained within the register. Similarly, you can perform rotate left operation. So shift left logical and rotate left we can consider here while performing the shift left. So while performing shift left operation, directly I can append 10 to the LSB and I can omit the MSB value, whatever which is present in the MSB location previously. So during rotate left, so this one will come to the previous, this one will come to the previous, so on, and finally this one will come to the vacated position. So I can say that the new value after performing rotate operation is 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 and 1. Similarly, here we can observe that shift left and rotate left. How exactly it looks like. So while shifting directly I can append 10 to the LSB, and if you are having the MSB we can neglect the MSB value. Similarly, rotate left with carry is also possible. Encoding of machine instructions. To be executed in a processor, an instruction must be encoded in a binary pattern, that means patterns of zeros and ones. Such encoded instructions are referred to as machine instructions. Encoding of instructions must include opcode, operands and addressing informations. Encoding which represents the entire informations or instructions as a binary value. That means the patterns of zeros and ones. Number of bytes needed to depends on how much information must be encoded. So that information we have to provide. How to encode the instructions as binary values. So basically the instructions consisting of operations and operands. The operation is nothing but opcode. For example, move. Operand, that is nothing but the number depends on the operations. So operand specified using the addressing modes. So we can make use of addressing modes in order to specify the operands. The addressing mode may include addressing informations, for example, registers and constant values. Encoding of instructions must include opcode, operands and addressing informations. So here we can observe that how exactly 32-bit information can be encoded. So it can be encoded by considering either one word instruction or two word instruction or three word instruction. So in the case of one word instruction, we can observe that we are having one opcode and we are having one source as well as the destination followed by other informations. So in the case of two operand instructions, we can observe that we are having opcode, source, destination, other information followed by additional memory address and immediate operand. So with respect to three operand instructions, we can observe that we are having opcode and three registers, that means RI, RJ and RK followed by the other information. So we can consider add R1, R2, R3 for three address instruction.